For today's video, I want to see how this Boosted Mini X can do on a grocery run. So a couple weeks ago, I did a very similar grocery run and potato run on my Onewheel Pint. I was very curious to see how this Boosted Mini X does on a very similar run. So I'm gonna take the same route. I'm gonna see how it does uphills for bad road surfaces, smooth roads, sidewalks, and just regular street traffic. So we've been eating a lot healthier, which is awesome. But every once in a while, I want some, you know, some candy or something like that. So I'm gonna head to the store, get a baked chicken and a little candy for myself. Oh, smooth street. Ooh, it's a steep hill. So you can see, depending on the condition of the roads, the Mini X can be kind of a rough ride. I definitely feel this in my legs and my feet, and where on the one wheel it's just no problem at all. You don't really feel a difference. So it's definitely for me, when I'm going on these rides, that's a big consideration that I make, is I think about what kind of condition the roads are going to be in before I go out. This first stretch of this is some of the worst roads, but the acceleration is awesome. Oh, more bad roads. Oh God. So I really feel this in my legs right now. There's a lot of vibration coming through this board. That's one downside of this short, stiff deck, is for sure the vibration on bad roads. But hills are just no problem. I mean, I have to go up pretty slow on a one wheel on these hills. This little boosted board just goes up with no problem at all. It's got two 500-watt motors, so a combined total of 1,000 watts, and they're belt driven, and that just gives it a lot of torque for getting up these hills. Even going down them too. So that's the thing, it's got really good braking. This is a really steep hill. I'm having to really lean out.
Do just what you want. You're the one I trust.
Oh.
And I always be around when I need some loving, baby.
Make sure you got weight above those rear wheels. About to get a break here. Gotta weave my way through here. I will say that's a lot easier to do on the one wheel, but still manageable. This guy's definitely more maneuverable than the longboard is. One of the really nice things about the Mini X, and all the boosted boards for that matter, is that they're fast. You really get used to going 20 miles an hour pretty quickly, and it's a lot of fun. That's a big difference between going on a one wheel versus going on a boosted board, for me at least. It also means that you can go on the streets and you're not really holding up traffic too much. Like most of the time, speed limits around downtown areas are 25 miles an hour, and you're going 20 on the Mini X, you're going, you know, 22 to 24 depending on the other versions of the boosted board, so that you're really not slowing anybody down at that point, which is awesome. On the one wheel, I feel a lot less confident on the streets because it's just not that fast. So I typically like to be on like paths or something like that. Ooh. Ah. It's about as sharp as I can make a turn here. On your left. What's up? Hey! And these motors are a little noisy, and they definitely, people will definitely hear you coming, which is a good thing in some ways, but I would prefer them to be quiet. So that's one advantage if you get a hub-driven motor, Unlike the boosted boards that are belt driven, the belts make these very loud. Come between you, thanks. So that's one advantage of the boosted board over the one. That's one advantage of the one wheel. It does off-road much better than the boosted board. You can do it like how you see here, but it's but it's not fun. And then I gunned it when I got off and chucked myself. So that's always fun. So that gives one big downside of the Mini for me. I am definitely not a skateboard guy, as you saw right there. And so my back foot there, when I put too much weight on this Mini and accelerate, it's got a lot of torque and it will lift up and throw you. So that's what happened to me right there. It's happened to me one other time before. And that really happened there just because I was transitioning from the grass and I had full throttle, and as soon as I hit the pavement, it just gunned it, and it's, you know, it's got a lot of power, so definitely be careful with that. On your left.
Sorry, not trying to block traffic.
Yeah, you're fine. So one thing too, even though this boosted board has nice big 80mm wheels, they still don't feel great going over sidewalks. And they're loud. It's definitely a downside of it. You really want smooth pavement. And they're not that great when they get wet either. Definitely got to be ready for the acceleration on this thing, because it's so little and it's fast, it will throw you off the back. Almost got me again right there. I just don't ride it every day. I'm not used to that speed, the acceleration.
Do just what you want. You're the one I trust.
On the boosted board, I feel much more confident scooting to the front of the line and then getting out in front of people, because I know that I can go faster than them. I definitely don't feel that way on the one wheel. It's a little slower. But right now, I just hop on the sidewalk on the one wheel, and that's totally fine too. I'll hop on the sidewalk right here. Ooh. All right, we have made it to Publix. Let's see what my range is looking like. Check out the range. Boosted. It says I have 60% remaining. Estimated range of 6.2 miles. Very good. Let's see how far this thing says I've gone. So I've gone 4 miles so far, and it says my app says I can go 6 miles more. So that sounds to me like I've got about a 10-mile range, which I think is what it predicted that I would get based on the speed that I'm going. Let's go get me some candy. A lot of people were complaining last time I did my ride in the Pint that I put my board into the buggy like this. Oh, so this time I'll put it down here. Is that better? Pretty fun. Out there, well, brother. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right.
All right. Heading back home. I'm about to go up. It goes all the way up to the top over there. It's pretty steep. Go quick. Must go faster. Up we go. Gotta lean forward up the hills. That's full throttle. Still going. No problem at all. Definitely slows down a little bit, but you can see here kicking into gear now. Woo. Oh, smooth. Oh God. This is though, right here, this is where a boosted board is just heaven. Smooth road, going 15, 20 miles an hour or more is just awesome. It really is incredible. App time. Let's see how far we went. Pull up the app and boosted. Let's see what our range is left. Man, 1.5 miles left, not much. So not a whole lot different than the one wheel on the same ride. Looks like total range, total distance traveled 8.3 miles. So basically the same. So I've got about a 10-mile range on this guy. Now I go faster. So, I mean, that's definitely something with the boosted. I mean, you're gonna get there quicker because you're gonna be going probably more like 15 to 20 miles an hour compared to about 10 to 13, but I mean, it's pretty similar range. I'm surprised. I really thought that I was gonna get more than that. I mean, they claim 14, but really that's if you're going at about the same speed as the Onewheel Pint. Yeah, so for me, it looks like it's the same range. So I'm a little surprised by that. And it's crazy, it's 100 watt hour less battery. So this thing has 267 watt hours versus 170 for the Pint. That's very interesting. You know, for the ride that I do, you can probably see why I don't use the Mini X as much, just because I'd say maybe a third of the roads are just really bumpy and they're not fun in the boosted board. But when the roads get smooth and you're able to just carve going 20 miles an hour, it's a blast. So I definitely really like it a lot. But yeah, so if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, consider doing that. There's a button down below or something. If you made it all the way here, you might as well, right? Definitely be doing some more videos. I'll do like a more thorough review video of this boosted Mini X and maybe just a really hands-on comparison of the Mini X and the Pint at some point. Today was really just about going to the grocery store and because I really want some gummy bears and then just comparing it with the Pint on the exact same ride. I thought that'd be really kind of a fun comparison. So let me know what you thought in the comments down below, and let me know if there's anything that you wanted to see too. And I will talk to you guys later. See ya. Man, which one's your favorite? I think pineapple's my favorite.